Welcome to our episode for the top 10 best rap songs of 2023. And before we actually get started, if you guys want to check out other end of the year content, we actually have our top 10 rap features of 2023, which is available right now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere that you guys listen to your podcasts. Just check out the link in the description to check that out. And we have one of the biggest events of the entire year going down on December 28th. It's our official award show. You guys don't want to miss it. Save the date. We're going to be doing vinyl giveaways, going through some categories, just like the Grammys would, but for the NFR community. And if you guys are coming into this a bit later, the upload will be available on our YouTube channel. But Ant, top 10 songs of the year.
My goodness.
How do you feel, man?
Well, I think it's always interesting to go through the best records of the year because it gives you an idea of maybe where your listenership was, what was the most impressive as far as thematic bases go, what was the best produced songs of the year, biggest moments of the year. Like, there's so many different things to factor in when making a list like this. So a bit of an honorable mention list for me. I don't have too much, but just a couple that I was considering. Jen's Terrific Vacation off of Quaranta. That was an impressive song for me off of Danny Brown's Awaited album. Another one that I wanted to bring in but didn't make my list was Golden Hour off of Mike's album Burning Desires featuring Larry June. I feel like that was top tier luxury rap and I really wanted to include it. I absolutely love the sample flip from DJ Black Power on that. Also, when going into Hotel 1105 by D2X, one of the best albums of the year, you had it maybe in your list. We'll see what happens with your list, but something like The Light, for example, that was another one that I was considering, but for the most part, I'm very confident in my top 10 list.
Me too, yeah. Not too many honorable mentions. I do have some, though. I have 007 by Mick Jenkins. I have Palisade CA by Larry June.
That did not make
The Alchemist and Big Sean, I know. Stories About My Brother by Drake is another one for me. Back to the Moon by Gunna, one of the best trap bangers. A lot of replay value in that. And then Rockefeller Y'all by Lupe Fiasco. Lupe went on a crazy run of dropping singles. Not many of them were that good, but this one was incredible, and it was tough to leave off of the list. But yeah, man, I mean, let's get into this. What sort of like factored into making your list? Was it replay value? Was it the bars? Like, what was it for you?
Replay values, the bars, just going into like, let's say, what was the most impressive as far as like song concept goes, but also like mixing it in with, let's say, an incredible blend of, just production and artistry.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really top tier for me. So you want to get into this?
Number 10 for myself is First Person Shooter by Drake featuring J. Cole. What do you have?
There we go. I have The Sun is Medicine by Kip Stone off of 66689 Boulevard prequels. So if you guys have listened to the audio podcast or you guys have been in any live streams, you guys know that I'm a big advocate for this album. And I believe this is the 9th track off the album, and it's definitely the magnum opus of it. And it's just incredible to see what Kip Stone was able to do here, vocally and rap wise, because you get off this incredible hook by Kip Stone and you see him extending some vocals. Also, the way that his vocals are layered is super impressive to me. But there's this haziness to the track. It feels like there's this sort of like, I don't know, like smog to it, to where like it's kind of hazy and like it feels kind of like not depressing, but there's like a dark tone, but there's also like an underlying positivity within the track that I really do enjoy. And going back to this album, I think it's one of the best songs, if not the best, off one of the best albums of the year. I was super impressed with Kip Stone's verses all the way throughout. Him kind of soul searching throughout the entire track. I really love the introspectiveness for it. And it's one song that I really wanted to have on my list this year, and it ended up cracking it.
So yeah, my number 10, First Person Shooter. Funny enough, you reminded me. I think you said like, so as FPS making your list, and I'm like, fuck, I wasn't even considering it like that. And just
it made mine.
Just looking, it made yours as well.
Made mine.
Yeah, just looking back on how big of a moment that was, and that first listen, I said it in the reaction. I'm like, this is hip hop heaven. Getting two of the best rappers of our generation sharing the mic over this incredible, grandiose production where you have this vocal sample ringing off and you have Coleman's horns, and it feels like a theme song for a sports team. It feels epic. It literally feels a song that is as big as the Super Bowl as far as the hip-hop world goes.
It's an anthem. It's an absolute anthem.
It's a huge anthem, and I couldn't ignore that because we never really see collabs like this happen, of this magnitude.
You don't.
So when you get it, you have to appreciate it, and I really do appreciate it just because you're getting great interplay between Drake and J. Cole, sort of on that competitive vibe. Who's the GOAT? It's me. No, it's me. And even just the whole rollout behind them reenacting the Messi and Ronaldo picture with a chess game. The music video was a moment, but Musically speaking, like I said, I love the beat switch. I love the fact that J. Cole had one of the craziest verses of the year. He completely left Earth, especially when he goes into the motion picture blockbuster flow. Amazing rhythmic timing there. And I love how Drake also has a bit of an underrated performance in the second verse, bro. Like the bars about him using a Grammy as a doorstop and, they want to boycott the boy. All of that I really enjoy. Just a great showcase of two of the best rappers at the peak form. Even though J. Cole got him, it was great to see them give you that anthem for 2023. So love to see it.
Number 10 selection. Let's go on to number 9. This is where I'm going to have Roy Jabiv by Mick Jenkins off of The Patience.
You got FPS high, okay?
Well, you might see it very soon.
So yeah, Roy Jabiv, fantastic song. I have Unpredictable by Static Selecta and Wu-Tang Clan.
There we go. I knew that was going to probably make your list, especially after the first listen on the Patreon. You wanted to go through it. But yeah, Roy Jabiv by Mick Jenkins. One of the coolest song concepts of the year because Mick Jenkins is using the color theory and he's kind of like putting it throughout his entire song and talking about the music industry within the color theory. And I'm kind of like, how the fuck does that even work? But it does. And you just see Mick Jenkins go over this incredible jazzy production. Does not have a mishap on any of his flows or any of his cadences. Not only that, but I love the hook and I love like how he actually repeats like Roy Jabiv and like the way that he implements it. It's sort of like ear candy. And I love the way that it rolls off. And I love the way that he was able to get into such descriptive writing. And I think it's one of the most original song concepts of the year when you have to look at like concepts for a single track. I think that Mick Jenkins' run in 2023 is going to be documented and championed finally by the community. And it's nice that this song came out in maybe a bit of a slower year because a lot of people appreciate this song and a lot of people are going back. And I think that it's also a very simple song when you look at it at face value. But once you start getting into the color theory and seeing like how he's connecting all the types of different colors to different scenarios, it's such an interesting song concept, but it doesn't fuck with the accessibility factor of it as well. So I just think that when you have to look at it, it's one of the best songs of the year, and I wanted to include it on my list.
Yeah, easily one of my favorites off of The Patience. But yeah, number 9, Unpredictable, Static, and
great pick,
Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, the fact that Wu-Tang sounds this good 30 years into their career is a marvel in itself, and it literally feels like not a single day has passed since the 36 Chambers days. Static Selecta comes in with this beautiful, elegant boom bap production, some disc scratches in there. It really takes you back to that time. You also get a little Wu-Tang sample at the beginning that's classic. Nice keys on the production as well. So you have the perfect foundation, and then you have fantastic verses from Inspector Deck, from Ghostface Killah, Raekwon, and Method Man. You're getting a nice posse cut that has these Wu members in peak form, giving you genius wordplay. You have Ghostface Killah sort of rapping about his immortality, saying that, like, how can you kill a ghost when he's invisible? Method Man steals the entire show at the end with his verse where he does that strategy where, like, he's taking one word, and the word here is it's line, the way that Lil Wayne did on C5, where he takes one word and uses it for so many different meanings where he raps. Hold on a second. I'm a fly figure, net worth in the 9 figures. Like if I'm lying, if you know when that line hits you. Draw the line, Mr. Get out of line, you line skipper. You get lined quicker. I'm fitting all you line sniffers. Just peak Wu-Tang music at the end of the day, and it's amazing, like I said, to see them sort of have this renaissance. I know they're doing a Las Vegas residency in the new year as well, so much love to them, and Wu-Tang is forever. So
absolutely. But okay, number 8, this is where I'm gonna have First Person Shooter by Drake featuring J.
There it is.
There we go. So that's where I wanted to put it.
I have Leak by My Name Isn't J-Mac.
There we go. All right. So First Person Shooter by Drake featuring J. Cole. It's always interesting because usually, like, maybe I have something placed higher on a list and you get to, like, steal the show with the explanation, but not much for me to say here, man. Like, it's one of the greatest moments of 2023, and just being able to see the back and forth with J. Cole and Drake and bring the competitive edge back to hip-hop.
Yeah.
That's something that's been missing from hip-hop for a long time right now, and I feel like maybe a lot of mainstream rappers are scared to go into that area, or they feel like maybe they don't fit within that area, but it was nice to see also a record of this magnitude get to number 1. I think that was a massive W for hip-hop. hop and just seeing like where the landscape is right now, and it's kind of a rarity, you know. And not only that, but I always had a problem with the second part with Drake because of like the whole Claudine thing, and I never really enjoyed it all that much. But I've been warming up to it,
Yeah.
And the fact that I've been warming up to it, when I look at it like from a totality, this track has so much value. You get an incredible beat switch, gets into a lot more of a darker mode in the second half, and I think J. Cole has one of the best verses of the year on this. I'm being dead serious with that, and I championed it as the best feature of the year on our audio podcast.
The best hit song of the year in our bracket.
It's really up there as one of the best songs of the year. There's so much value with it, and as you said, the production from Coleman and Cole is just it's a different type of mode, and I really do think it's one of the greatest collaborations of the year. So number 8.
Yeah, for me, Leak by My Name Isn't J-Mac, underrated pick. He's a great artist, and this is sort of lo-fi jazz rap, and what's really amazing about it is that there's so many layers to this track. You have 2 parts, 2 different instrumentals. The first one has like this chill muted flute, and the second one goes into a more nostalgic sound with a nice soul sample. So production's on point, and My Name Isn't J-Mac just sort of giving you these streams of consciousness with a lot of passion, and rapping about his previous addictions, rapping about his position in his rap career right now and how he feels like he has pressures from his friends to make it big, and just amazing streams of consciousness from a refreshing voice within the scene that I feel like deserves to hear more, deserves to have more people listening to him, I should say. And if you like pop culture references, if you like old hip-hop references, and if you're a fan of relaxing music that has a bit of an edge, this is a great place to go to. And yeah, he's just super talented, so I had to put him in here.
All right, let's keep going on with this. Number 7, this is where I'm going to have Palisades, California by Larry June and The Alchemist featuring Big Sean.
There it is. Next up, my only Utopia song on the list, Thank God by Travis Scott. Do you have any 2 songs from the same album on this list?
No, sir, I don't. But okay, that's interesting because you're a modern jam guy.
So I guess let me get into it then.
Yeah, so what's up with that?
Interestingly enough, I thought I Know was going to be like number 1 most fucking played for me on my Spotify rap because, at least as far back as I can remember, that was a song I was junking all year long. But apparently it was Thank God. It was my number 1 most played of the year according to Wrapped. And the more and more that I listened to the highlights off of Utopia, including My Eyes, including Modern Jam, including Thank God, the one that I ended up being the most impressed by was Thank God, because it's a masterclass of production where you're getting these spacey keys clashing with these drums that sound like they're about to blow your speakers off. Then you sort of transition into like this new synth line. Then it sort of gets drawn out. Then you have these UFO sounds coming in that bring us into this new sonic palette where you have these violin strings and everything feels more grand and epic. Then the 808s kick in and it's game over. I love those types of productions that keep evolving. And that to me was the best example of that on Utopia. Apart from that, you're getting an amazing chorus from Casey, whose vocals feel very full into the mix, very powerful. And then Travis Scott, 2 amazing verses. The first one, him wanting to stay on a straight and narrow path, not being tempted by the devil, wanting God to rescue him. And the second verse, him giving you that hunger, him telling you, I have a chip on my shoulder. I didn't win the Grammy. I want to prove myself this time around. And him rapping with more ferociousness. I just love how many different elements and facets there are to this song. Mind-blowing to me.
It's definitely
still amazes me with new listens today.
Absolutely. But let me go into Palisades, California, a song that I knew was going to make my list from the first time that I heard it. The best song off The Great Escape for me, and obviously this released back in March. You get production from The Alchemist all the way throughout, and I think this was like my favorite beat of the year.
So
like
good.
Like one of them for sure.
So
it's
good.
Definitely up there. But there's not much going on with the content matter, if I could say that. Like you're not getting the craziest song concept, but you are getting top tier luxury rap from Larry June and from Big Sean. And like I think we spoke about this actually in our top 10 features episode on the audio podcast. It just gets me excited to see what Big Sean's going to come with next for his next album. And getting into this track, this is no different because when you have to look at it from a song concept, I do think it's the best luxury rap song of the year, hands down. I really can't find anything else that competes with it. When I look at, my top 10 albums of the year, The Great Escape will be on it, and I think that this is the best song off of one of the best albums of the year. I think when you have to look at a collaboration from 2 artists and 1 rapper, two rappers and 1 producer, it really knocks off that checkpoint. And I don't want to necessarily go too much into the content matter of Larry June's verse because I've talked about the sax 5th bars. Yeah. I've talked about the expensive candles, the vitamins, whatever the case may be. But also
Big
like
Sean spaz.
but
though.
Big Sean's verse
Fuck,
is really
man.
special. It's a really special verse. It's one of the best of the year. Him talking about taking chlorophyll and him having like, you know, his hair grow out. Him talking about how he's focusing on himself and his well-being and his mental health and how he's a family man now. It's just it's rich with culture and it's rich with everyday life sort of lessons that anyone could relate to. So that's why I enjoyed so much. It's a special song for 2023 and it made my number 7 selection.
I agree with that title. Best luxury rap song of the year. I agree.
All
I
right,
agree.
let's keep going on with this.
Number 6.
I have Wickman by Drake.
Wow, Wickman.
I have Wickman by
Out of everything on Scary Hours 3, that was the one?
I have Wickman by Drake. Yes, I do. What do you have at number
That's
6?
so interesting. I feel like it's one of the weaker ones off of the album, or the EP, I should say. But I have Faith by D2X. As my
Okay,
number
there we
6.
go.
So,
So-
why Wickman? Out of all songs off of the EP, that's your favorite.
This was a revelation by Lord Nick. Lord Nick summoned me and he was like, I had to go back and really like pay attention. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. It's one of the best written songs off
Over
of the
Stories About My Brother.
Bro, because you're gonna get a bit more, let's say, length from Drake off of Stories About My Brother.
Better
right?
bars, too.
No, you're not gonna get better
Absolutely,
bars
easily.
because once you start getting Drake in a mode where he's questioning his faith in God, the Pusha T verses, and everything else,
And he's been
meditative-
there before, though. Like,
but
content-wise, he's been there. you know?
it is so,
cool.
no, he's never talked about.
He hasn't talked about the whole basis is the Pusha T thing, which he's gone over so many times.
I know, but that's such a weird thing to say. Like it's only one bar throughout the entire song. There's much. Go back through it.
I did.
Go back through it. I'm telling you, it is one of the best songs of the year. You know, Drake talks about losing a dear friend named Nadia to him and how like, you know, he wanted her to be able to come visit him back in his dreams. And, you know, the fact that she didn't after 17 months, like he's kind of questioning his faith in God and what his faith means to him and how it's affecting him as a man. I find that absolutely incredible. Not only that, but when I look at The Alchemist's unconventional psychedelic production and just seeing the way that Drake slid all the way throughout it, it's one of the best songs of the year without a doubt. And it's just so nice because those types of songs come very so often now for Drake's catalog. It's been a while since I've gotten a track of this level and this type of writing from Drake in his career, and I have to say it's definitely one of the best places on my number 6. But talk to me about Faith by D2X.
I think I'd even put 8 AM in Charlotte above it from a writing standpoint easily. But yeah, Faith by D2X. If you're someone that loves soulful hip-hop anthems like A Faithful by Common or like a Slow Jams by Kanye West, this is a song you absolutely have to listen to just because it gives you that soul food. It gives you that feeling of soulful hip-hop at its finest. It's an absolute anthem. You have a chipmunk soul vocal sample ringing throughout it, hard-hitting drums, chill keys, and it's D2X sort of rhyming about him wanting to wear his emotions on his sleeves. And I feel like this is the type of subject matter that you won't hear often on a hip-hop song where he's a man embracing the tears that he's shedding over losses he's endured and a bunch of other hardships that he's gone through. And at the end of the day, there's a beautiful message because he's rapping about the love that he has for his daughter. He's rapping about the manifestations of him wanting to make it out of the situation he's in to be a huge artist and sort of putting all of these thoughts into motion. And it has classic hip-hop written all over it. And it reminds me of the type of hip-hop that I loved once upon a time just because I'm not getting many songs like this anymore.
Especially
Like, give
from
me this
up-and-coming
soulful
artists.
feeling
No.
from up-and-coming artists. You do not get this hip-hop anymore.
You do not.
But so I had to put it in. But yeah, top five. Here we go.
Top 5. At number 5, I have Kitchen Lights by West Side Gun featuring Stove God Cooks.
I have that higher up.
Okay, there we go. Finally. Fuck yeah. Because like,
Oh,
yeah.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah, so what do you got at number 5? What do
Number
you
5 is Perfect. JPEG Mafia and
got?
Danny
Okay,
Brown.
yeah, I have. So
That moved down on my list because of the halfway year list. I had it at number 1.
So okay, I think maybe we have Perfect and Kitchen Lights maybe interchangeable.
No, I have Kitchen Lights higher than 4.
I have Perfect higher than 4.
Okay, we'll see then.
We'll see what happens.
Then we'll
with
have
it.
to see.
All right, but yeah, talking about Kitchen Lights, this is just top tier luxury rap. But I don't even want to say luxury rap. How could I put this? It's like the end
To
of
some degree, I guess, but not
yeah.
really.
It's like the end of a movie. That's the way I feel about it. Like you're riding off into the sunset. This
Yeah.
would be the perfect song to like narrate anyone's life, you know? And just like the way that West Side Gun starts off this verse is just, it's also a top tier West Side Gun performance. Have you ever seen Ayo? You ever have to watch your moms get beat? Roaches crawling, crack pipe on the bathroom seat. Anita Baker out the speakers, gold frame on the black Jesus, eating grilled government cheeses. What's going on here, bro? And then after that, once you start getting into the second half of the song and Stove God Cooks comes through, Makes no sense, bro. It makes absolutely no sense. Just the hook is incredible. Him championing, his drug dealing skills and him talking about how, he had 50 keys on the seat and he started crying for how happy he was. It's triumphant. And I think it's one of the best beats of the year by DJ Benoit.
Absolutely.
It doesn't even make sense. So yeah, I'll leave you some runtime to speak about it, but it made my number 5 selection. What do you got at number 5?
Number 5, Perfect. This is maybe the more traditional song on Scaring the Hose, where it's not as left field as the other ones. The samples aren't as strange, you could say. But with this one, it was just cool to see JPEG and Danny bring the utmost energy on this triumphant beat that had these victorious horns and these thunderous drums. Seeing them sort of out of their element compared to the sounds you're getting on the rest of this album, and them just being hilarious with the one-liners. You're also getting JPEG giving you amazing ad-libs throughout his performance. Danny Brown is getting silly, rapping about like splashing someone's brains on a windshield. And they both have powerful performances, and it sounds like they're entering a battleground. It sounds like everything has led up to this moment, and that this is sort of like the climax of the album, just in terms of energy, in terms of hype, in terms of what they're emitting into the microphone. It's a song that's good for mosh pits. It's a song that's good for the car. Whatever scenario you want to throw it into, it'll fit. And it's also one of the more accessible tracks out of the entire year. So I had to throw it in there. My favorite song off of Scaring the Hose. Will I be seeing this on your list?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
so yeah, I'll
4.
leave you some runtime for that. But yeah.
Number 4. All right, number 4. I have "Scientists and Engineers" by Killer Mike featuring Andre 3K and Future. What do you got?
I got "The Weather" by Black Thought and El Michel's Affair off of Glorious Game.
So am I going to be seeing "Scientists and Engineers"?
I don't know. We'll leave it as a mystery. How about that?
I think maybe at number 2 you're going to have it. I think maybe at number 2 you're going to have it. Oh, I think it's one of the greatest collaborations of the year. That's absolutely for sure. Just Andre 3K talking about, again, the meditative stuff that he gets into, and just even the production. It's really a top tier song of the year, and it's a song that I got into later in the year, if that makes sense to you, because when Michael came out, I had gone through the album, and not that I wasn't captivated by it, but it took me multiple listens maybe to get back in. And, then with multiple repeated listens, I got more and more intrigued into the track list. And this is one song that I think is the greatest collaboration of the year, low key, from multiple different artists with it really is. Yeah. And just seeing example what Future does for some of the verses by adding little hints of emotional lines and cadences. Seeing one of the best features of the year by Andre 3K on this is incredible. Seeing Killer Mike's quick flows and him slicing and dicing throughout this. Not only that, but seeing just what it feels like to be in this type of production is beautiful. Even Erin L. Kane throughout this entire song is beautiful. Like, her vocals just ring off, and it's one of the best songs of the year. And listen to this producer, this producer cast, all right? Andre 3K, James Blake, No ID, and DJ Paul.
Crazy.
It is really how could you get better than this for hip hop? So I wanted to have it on my number 4 selection.
Yeah. Next up for me is going to be "The Weather" by Black Thought and El Michel's Affair. It's a song that cracked my halfway list for the year, and it's one that really stuck with me just because it's Black Thought sort of walking you through what his life was like growing up in Philly, but just with intense detail, bro. Like, to me, this song did the best job, out of any other track this year at painting a vivid picture, because you're hearing about what meals Black Thought's grandmother was cooking for him. If it was chicken, if it was fish, whatever it was, you're getting those details. You're getting to hear about the fact that Black Thought was cleaning the marble stairs for the stairwell of his grandmother's house. Like, just vivid details, and him also just rapping about like what his circumstances were like during that time. But the most impressive part of this was the fact that he had one of the most creative performances of the year, because as you go through his verse, you literally have the most unpredictable tempo switches as he raps really quickly and then sort of descends. And not only are his flows and timing getting quicker, but the production also speeds up and then slows down once his flow slows down. So the synergy between the rhyming and the production was impeccable between Black Thought and El Michel's Affair. And as I said, the writing is also so vivid, so imaginative. And it really struck a nerve with me this year. So The Weather.
Fantastic song. But okay,
top 3. Now we get serious, guys. No more fucking around. Top 3 songs of 2023. My number 3 pick is going to be Sorry Not Sorry by Tyler.
Okay.
What do you have?
Number 3, I have Perfect by JPEG Mafia and
There you
Danny
go.
Brown. So I think you did a great job at explaining it. But I think the reason why I have a number 3 is because I don't think any other song this year has brought out so much hype,
Yeah.
for like energy and like just getting in a fucking zone. And I said this in the review. I feel like it's something that you'd find in like a Super Smash game. Like that's really the way that I feel about it. And it's so triumphant. The production by JPEG Mafia is in your face, and it's the most accessible song I think you'll get from JPEG Mafia in your life.
Oh yeah.
This released back in March, and it's really stood the test of time for the year. So I've had time to live with this song, and it's still the best song on one of the best albums of the year. I do think that once you get throughout the track, you realize how exhilarating this song is. It really just does feel like you're in this high speed like car chase, and you're just ripping through the streets, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm in a zone right now and nothing's gonna stop me. Like, you feel absolutely invincible when listening to this song, and the chemistry between Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia is impeccable. And also, Danny Brown's hook is one of my favorite of the year. The hook on this song is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a great hook.
It is absolutely nuts. The way that he does his grunts and his voice, like it's like, fuck yeah, that's what I like about hip hop music. And
I want to go back and see what our reaction was like to that song, because it
we
must
were
have been
going
pretty wild.
That was a fun reaction.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite reactions of 2023.
Fuck yeah, man.
All right, go on to your number 3, man.
Yeah, Sorry Not Sorry by Tyler, which at this point I'm assuming you must have at 1 or 2. But yeah, Sorry Not Sorry. What the fuck is there not to love about this song? I mean, we've spoken about it before. I love the hilarious DJ Drama intro with like pardon me, excusez-moi, I'm sorry, I'm fucking sorry. Hilarious, but ultimately what drives me about this song is, of course, the bed that's laid production-wise, very soulful, very nostalgic, instrumental. But more than that, it's just Tyler's writing style is just brilliant here, because you're getting very genuine approach from Tyler, but also a very sarcastic approach where he's apologizing to different people in his life, talking to his mother directly about apologizing for not spending too much time with her, or talking to previous boyfriends about being sorry that he had to hide them at certain points, but then also being sarcastic where he's sort of apologizing to Mother Earth for polluting the air with like all of his supercars that he drives. And it was cool to get that balance within the track of I'm serious and I'm also not serious, and also him rapping about wanting to continue his evolution, which was inflated by the music video as you saw him dress up as all the different era and characters from these different eras. So it just felt like one of those career defining moments in Tyler's career, and it's a very special song, one that's only grown on me with time. And I love also the variety of vocal tones and cadences from Tyler, which keeps you engaged at every turn. It's not monotone. There's always something changing delivery and performance wise, and yeah, the way it builds momentum as well is incredible. So I had to put Sorry Not Sorry on my list.
There we go. All right, number 2, I have My Eyes by Travis Scott.
There it is.
That's where it was going to go. You knew it was coming. What do you have at number 2?
Number 2 is Kitchen Lights, West Side Gun featuring Stove God Cooks.
There we go, number 2.
Crack Top 2. So yeah, talk to me about My Eyes. Clearly an amazing song.
Yeah, it's a top 10 Travis Scott song of all time for me. And I included that in the audio podcast that we did for our top 10 Travis Scott songs. And I think a lot of fans this year feel that way, because this is kind of like the magnum opus of the album. It's up there in his best ever performances, especially like when you see the transition from performance to performance. He's in verse 1, you get it more in like his Frank Ocean vibes. That's what I found so interesting, is like he's attacking this cadence and this flow and this sort of singing performance that you've never really seen him go into before. And it's interesting because the more like somber and slower part of the track is where he gets like a lot deeper with his content matter, where he's talking about materialism and like how his fame does absolutely nothing for him, and like how he's really in more of like a negative mind state on the first verse. And then on the second verse, once that beat switch happens and you get this incredible transition, one of the best beat transitions of the entire year. And I think that this is the best production all year, if I'm being completely honest with you. You're in a completely different zone, and you see him get a bit more warmer and talk about how he misses his childhood, and talking about his relationship with Kylie Jenner. It's just It's very personal and relatable from Travis Scott, and I think it's his greatest rapping performance ever, in my opinion, and it's definitely up there. You could put some other songs there, but it's definitely one of his best performances ever when it comes to rapping.
The speed he was rapping at was just...
the personal relatability to it. The writing is incredible.
Yeah.
And the production from Wonder Girl, Wheezy, and even the Justin Vernon vocals all the way throughout it. It's just an incredible song, magnum opus this year. It had to be included in my top 3. So, yeah, talk
awesome
to me
selection,
about number 2.
man. Yeah, so I guess that means I know where your number 1's going.
Yeah.
But yeah, number 2, Kitchen Lights, West Side Gun, Stove God Cooks. You did a great job at explaining it. I think that when it comes to this song, reason why I had to fucking include it is that it's the best sample-based production that I heard all year long from DJ Benoit. You have like this dreamy harp that's being tickled at the beginning. Then you move into these elaborate violin strings, these piano keys. It's just one of the most stunning and heavenly productions I've ever laid ears on, especially within the Griselda underground. And yeah, West Side Gun giving you one of his most personal and reflective verses. Stove God Cooks giving you this hook where he thinks he's Christina Aguilera singing his heart out about kitchen lights and talking about dope and putting his heart and soul into it and really meaning every word that he says. I feel like the conviction behind Stove God Cooks' words was really felt all throughout the track. And yeah, as you said, the verses are amazing. The writing is there. And it truly is one of the best coke rap songs that I can think back on in recent time.
If it reminds me, like, it gives me not the same feeling that the Cow gives me, but like it's like the Cow tier, you know, where it's a West Side Gun song where it's like the feature completely steals the show. But then again, like I don't want to discredit West Side Gun because there's an incredible verse on
true,
it. But
though. It steals the show.
Yeah, Stove God Cooks, man. Like just what an
guy.
incredible performance.
What a guy.
But, all right, number 1 song of the year for me is gonna be "Sorry Not Sorry" by Tyler the Creator. What's your number 1? I could guess it.
Song of the Year, Scientists and Engineers by Killer Mike featuring Andre 3K, Future, and Aaron Allen Kane.
So there we go. I mean, that's going to be our songs of the year. I mean, when it comes to Sorry Not Sorry, like you said, the perspective from Tyler is totally unique. And I do feel like it's a defining moment in his career. And when this dropped, I got quite emotional just because I had so much fun covering the Call Me If You Get Lost rollout with you. And this was kind of like the change of an era, you know, change in seasons. And you just saw like all of the different characters come together in the music video. And I just feel like the content matter really hit me home here because, you know, he's talking about, like you said, you know, saying sorry to his mother, for example, you know, for not spending enough time with her. Or when he does get to see her, it's such a short, extended period of time, you know, or even talking about maybe the old Odd Future members and talking about how, like, he's sorry for having, you know, that solo career that he did. It's just, it's so nostalgic, and I love the sample flip on here. The He Made You Mine sample by Brighter Side of Darkness is absolutely incredible. It feels triumphant, and then once you get to the outro, it's like, again, kind of like, you know, Kitchen Lights. It's a Ride Into the Sunset sort of song, and I'm a sucker for those types of tracks. I had it at number 1 when I did my top songs of the year so far, at like around that June mark on the audio podcast, and it has remained at my number 1 position.
So W,
hands down.
Love to hear it. But yeah, Scientists and Engineers, you were wondering where I was going to place in my list, and it got the number 1 song, the number 1 spot. I think that when it comes to this track, it's the most complete rap song of the year. Like, you had this incredible cast of artists all joining forces together, and they all played their roles to perfection. Like, if you would have told me we're going to get a Killer Mike, Andre 3K song with a Future performance, I would have been like, okay, where is this going to go? But I love what Future brought to this, bro. His vocals sounded so hazy. You also had the softer, more melodic touch to his performance. And what's interesting about the song, too, is that everyone is tackling a different subject within their parts and their verses or hooks, but it all fits in within this science fiction-esque production that also has like this soulful backbone to it. And I love what Andre 3000 did, of course. Like you said, he's just an alien when it comes to these verses. The way that he can bend the rhyme schemes and form
such
them.
a meticulous rhyme scheme as well. It's really impressive.
So yeah, I mean, that Killer Mike rapping as quick as he did, marvel to listen to. Incredible song from start to finish. But that's going to sum up the episode, guys. Those are our top 10 songs of the year.
Yes, sir.
Let us know in the comments, what is your song of the year? What was your favorite? How did you like our lists? And as we mentioned at the beginning of this, the award show is coming very soon, December 28th. Save the date. Going to be a massive moment. And listen, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support you've shown us across the entire year. And for anyone coming into this a bit later, that award show will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, so you could access that there. Thank you guys for everything you do to support NFR, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.